test with the S6 and iPhone 6. The tests were conclusive that the iPhone did a lot better. Well, with these new devices, I wanted to see if Samsung improved any of the quality when it comes to water resistance. And I've never done this test with an iPhone 6 Plus. So basically, I want to see out of these three, which one survives the longest when dunked in water. Now, in my last test, I did it in very shallow water. So I'm increasing the depth. And this is just regular tap water, fluoridated, chlorinated. You know, it's just regular water that you'd find in a pool if you were to fill it up at your house. But pretty much we're going to be seeing how long these guys can sit when dropped in water, about a foot of water, see how long they last until they do no longer work, and if they do survive at the end, which of the ports are working, is the speaker still working, basically is this phone going to survive to give you another phone call another day. All right, so I have over $2,000 on the brink of destruction right here, just laying on the palm of my hand, and I'm gonna go ahead and start the timer and immediately submerge all of these. My prediction again is the 6 Plus will last the longest, but guys, can you feel my pain right now? I've got so much money right here, and I want to test which device will last the longest in this water. All right, I'm really nervous about this, but let's go ahead and start this. Here we go. Oh. So I'm gonna put the Note 5 and the S6 Edge, and then the iPhone right here. And this guy will be my timer on the very right. So let's see which device will last longest. Remember, none of these have any sort of waterproofing rating, so this is at the mercy of the water. And so far so good. So the Galaxy S6 Edge screen is doing some funny things. Other than that, this is a foot of water and all of these devices are completely submerged. At the end of this, I want to see which ports are still working, which ones are not. Usually the speakers do go out. We're approaching just a minute 15 and both devices are doing good at this point. Galaxy S6 Edge, of course, the water is interfering with it. It's doing a lot of funny things, but there's a good amount of pressure in here. So as you guys can see, the Note 5 is completely tweaking out, but all are still working at the 2-minute mark. So this water does have chlorine in it, and this is pretty much what you'd expect to find at any swimming pool. All right, so almost 2.5 minutes here. Just want to check these guys out underwater. The Note 5 is, it's now 3 minutes and all devices are still alive. I'm pretty surprised with all of these. They're doing really good. The iPhone 6 Plus, it's my backup timer. It's at 3 minutes and 45 seconds now. So let's keep going and see what happens. Oh wow, so look at that. The Edge display is activating. That's really funny. Notification menu's coming down. Oh man, that's just interesting to see. But all of the displays are still active. Everything's alive. I'm really impressed with all of these. These devices have been underwater for over 5 minutes already. As you guys can see, all are still working. And that's not to say once I take them out, they're going to keep working, but at this point it's just interesting to see which device will stay along for the longest. And I'm not going to be taking them out until they're completely dead. All right, so I'm just going to click the home button on these guys so they could go back to the screens. And some icons are moving. There's a ghost playing with the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus. The one place where Samsung always surprises me though, even in my last test, is its ability to recover. The iPhone, on the other hand, once it gets a lot of water in there, the one from the last test stopped working completely. However, the Galaxies, they always do so great when you try and resuscitate them. They actually come back to life and mostly everything works. On the iPhone last time the speaker stopped working, we're going to test all of that at the very end if the phone survives. But approaching 8 minutes here, all are going strong. And just to give you guys an idea, this is what the kind of depth we're looking at here. So there's a considerable amount of pressure pushing down on these phones from the very top. We're approaching 12 minutes. All devices are still functioning. It's a miracle. I don't know how these devices last this long. There's no waterproofing on any of them, not even a water resistance yet. All of them are doing fine. And let's go ahead and take them out at 15 minutes and see what's working and what's not. All right, so we're a little over 15 minutes, but I'm gonna go ahead and take these guys out, pause the timer, so we can go ahead and see what's working and what's not working on these devices. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and get some of the water out. Wow, so these touch screens both work. Yeah, this one is freaking out. I mean, there's nothing on the display liquid-wise. Yeah, it's really doing its own thing, so that's a little erratic. This guy, on the other hand, is the more solid of the two. So both do work after 15, almost 16 minutes in the water. Oh, it thinks headphones are plugged in. So there's some moisture in there. I'm sure if you were to clean it out, it would start playing, but it does think that there are headphones in there. And meanwhile, this stuff is tripping out. Oh my gosh, they're always... So definitely hear the audio from this. It is evident, so that is definitely working. So this thing is completely tripping out. It doesn't want to let me even get into the settings, but I think the Wi-Fi chip is fried because I lost Wi-Fi and I was previously connected. It doesn't let me stay anywhere for long. It just opens up random stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna try and get a Wi-Fi signal first off. Yeah, I think Wi-Fi is fried. I mean, I'm getting no response. I have no cell service. Everything Wi-Fi related, like signal wise, is dead. So these phones are completely tripping out. However, this one still has service, still has Wi-Fi. I want to see if the audio still works on this guy. I do hear that the speaker on this one does work, so that is working. However, I just can't test the Wi-Fi because it's dead. I mean, it's burnt out completely. Wow, look at that. So one of them is working, one of them is not. These touch controls down here no longer work. So both of these have casualties already. This Wi-Fi driver no longer works, the screen is tripping out. These bottom buttons right here are no longer working. Let me see if the speaker works. Yep, so the speaker works. Let me go ahead and test the headphone jack. Yeah, so the headphone jack is busted on this guy. So I'm getting a lot of water on the actual jack once I insert it into here. I can't get the headphones to work. So with these devices in their current state right now, I'm gonna go ahead and insert them again into the water and keep going with the timer, see how long these guys can last until they completely die out. Because at this point I can tell the water is seriously messing with the devices, but it's not enough to not use them. Let's go ahead and dunk these guys back in and see how long they last. All right, so once again, here are these devices. Unfortunately, I reset the timer, but I know I had nearly 16 minutes on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it again, just add to it at the end, but anyways, here we go. So we'll set these guys down again in the water. So all of the displays are still acting funny, and man, it sucks. I accidentally reset it. The water touched the screen on the S5 actually, and it stopped it. But we'll just add 16 minutes because we already know they survived that long. So that's so interesting how the button is just floating around. Someone's really trying to put that Safari or internet browser in that spot, but they just can't. They're trying so hard, but they can't. First thing that goes on these is definitely the buttons. The iPhone 6 Plus is showing no sign of any sort of wear. I mean, I'm almost surprised. If I actually press the screen in water, the bubbles come out of the iPhone. Don't know why. So that's really interesting. I'm gonna move these guys around just a little bit, see if I could get a little bit more water in there. So there that goes. And same thing with this guy. So now they're, I could pretty much say, almost entirely full of water. Oh, and there goes the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus. And the Note 5. So these guys have turned off underwater. I'm going to try and power them back on, which is exactly what you should not be doing. And so these guys lasted roughly 20 minutes, 21 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and leave the iPhone in there and see what I can do to get these guys back working. So the phone is restarting, a lot of water is coming out of it. And I guess it's still working, and nothing. So the red LED is flashing in the sky, but neither are working. However, the iPhone inside, I don't know what language that is, but it's still trooping along. It's roughly at about 23 minutes. Just gonna try and shake up the iPhone, see if I can get as much water in there as possible. It's still working. It has beat these guys, that's for certain. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I could get these guys working again. Both are not turning on. This one is displaying a red LED. All right, so I've tried to shake out as much water as possible, and I'm gonna try and boot them up. And against all advice that people give you, I'm gonna put the power cable in and see if I could get them to boot up. And I hear audio from the Note 5. All right, so plugging the Note 5 in right now. There's no sign of life between either. So they lasted just about 20 minutes. And you know, they're toast now. The Note 5 keeps rebooting. Over here though, the iPhone 6 Plus is still trooping along. So roughly right now it is about 27 minutes, approaching the 30-minute mark. It's still working, but there's a very interesting diagonal streak across the screen. While the Note 5 and S6 Edge Plus have had enough, roughly at about 20 minutes, this guy is still trudging along. All right, and the time has come. We're at 19 minutes and this display is flickering. Keeps doing a bunch of things and it's time to take it out. So as you guys can see, the display is flickering. So the power button, randomly clicking, it doesn't even work. Look at how much water is coming out. This thing was waterlogged. So a lot of water was in there, but the screen works. After 35 minutes in the water, the dial tone doesn't work, so I could definitely tell the speaker is busted. Now as for the headphone jack, all of them went out already, so we know that's no longer working. As you can see, there's a really weird artifact in here. So the lower region of the screen works. Up here, for some reason, I can't get it to work. So guys, what this test has basically shown me is that the iPhones have always done very good in water. In my previous test and in this test, the iPhone 6 Plus has outperformed the Note 5 and the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus. So this guy, I can still feel it vibrating, but the display is not working, and this one does show promise of life. Hopefully I can get it working in my next video. For now, these guys are toast at 20 minutes, 35 minutes. The iPhone 6 Plus just does not want to give up. This thing is a trooper, and even though you shouldn't take it in the water, it might be able to survive better than the Galaxies if you were to take it in the water and leave it in there for, let's say, 35 minutes. And this is all chlorinated water, so I'm even surprised they did this well. Anyways guys, so that's pretty much it. Don't put your phone in the water, it will not fare very well, but if you do, I'm going to be making a video showing you guys how to fix your phones as soon as possible after they get out of the water.